Well, hey guys, welcome back to another Stream Team Beekeeping Chat. This one is special. Bruce, Brian here live in person here at Nature's Image Farm, and behind us here is an entire live studio audience. Yeah, you guys are awesome. Thank you. I want to thank everybody for being here. We have folks that have flown from all over the country, driven here, thumbed their way here. You guys are awesome. We really appreciate you guys. I want to thank everyone if you're tuning in on the Stream Team Beekeeping Chat live here on YouTube. Thanks for joining us this morning. If you're listening back to the replay later or the Nature's Image Farm podcast, thanks for spending some time with us. We thought it would be cool to do something like a little different. One of the sweet spots, and I think the gold and the treasure behind a lot of bee conferences. The conferences are great, the education, the speakers, it's awesome. But truth be told, I think a lot of us come for the community, we come for the fellowship, we come to spend time with each other. And some of the gold moments of those kind of conferences are the moments in between, the moments after. And so what we kind of wanted to do as a stream team as a whole was put on a stream team field day and a creator convergence. We wanted everyone to be able to converge, be here, be in one place. Content creators, product creators, beekeepers, kind of all the folks that are in our fold. And it was a fun way to just kind of see what happens. Judging by the turnout already, I think we're on to something here. And it's exciting to have so many folks who value what we're doing, what the community is doing as a whole. So I'm looking forward to see how this thing grows, what it does in the future. This is what makes things awesome. It is awesome. I'm just meeting so many of you for the first time, and it's great to be here. Many of you I recognize, faces, names, and a lot of you I'm meeting for the first time, so it's just a tremendous opportunity. Brian, what's it like? We see all these folks, and we engage with them. You consider them friends. You get to know them. You see the comments, the interaction, the YouTube interaction. What's it like to be here in front of folks who have gone this far to be here to spend some time with us?
I can say where I'm at now, had it not been for this community and, the two of you learning from, so many different people, I would not be where I'm at now. Yeah. Beekeeping, it's just like you said, we need to work like a hive. We are that colony. We're better together, and we share. And that's where, Bruce was saying, that divide that's out there, we need to break that wall down and just all move forward together. And that's how we'll learn, and that's how we'll be better beekeepers. It's when we're all going our separate ways, it does no one any good.
Right.
Together, we are so much stronger and so much better.
Bruce, do you remember how this whole thing kind of kicked off?
Yeah. A couple of years ago, I guess it was, first of all, going back a little bit before that, I had been interested in doing live streams a little bit on my channel and hadn't had a lot of success with it. I just there's a guy over in North Carolina called Brian Carlton. Brian's a mess. He had a channel and then he just shut it down when I don't know, anyway, he's funny, but he told me I should do live streams, and I really didn't have a desire to do it, didn't really know what was involved. And so I just did a couple using my iPhone, alone, and they were okay, but it was just me trying to figure out how to do it and didn't really have any idea what I was doing. And so, but he said, there's this guy, Castle Hives does live streams all the time. You should reach out to him. And I had no idea who Castle Hives even was.
Wasn't anybody.
I didn't know. So anyway, I just kind of filed in the back of my brain for a little while. And then before the Hive Life Conference of 2022, that December, I guess 2021, out of the blue, Greg reached out to me, and I can't remember exact order of things. If I reached out, I think Greg reached out to me, and he said, "Hey, I'm Greg from Nature's Image Farm, and we're going to be doing some podcast type interviews at Hive Life. Would you like to do one of those?" I'm like, "Sure." And so why not? I was going to the conference, and then shortly after that, I reached out because I was still in the back of my mind I wanted to do live stream. So I reached out to Brian, emailed him, I think, or got a hold of him somehow. And he's like, "Sure, I'll help you figure it out." And it was a couple of weeks before Hive Life. We just jumped on, and we did it on Brian's channel. And he invited, I think, Greg was on there. I'd never met Greg personally. And then we had some other guys on there. And that was a wild ride. We had some characters on there. But it was really fun. And then so Brian's like, you want to try one? And then the next week, I guess, was right before Hive, like the night before I left to go up there. I don't know, we may have done one or two, but I tried it on my channel. And that's kind of where we started doing kind of our little thing. And we met at Hive Life and then decided just to kind of roll with it after that. And we didn't even really have a name. And then I think Greg mentioned, hey, we got the stream team or something. And
do you guys know where that name came from? Matthew Schock, Premier, was asking, he said, how did you guys come up with that name? And so I don't think I've ever told you guys. So we're not urologists, first and foremost. It has nothing to do with that. Apparently, if you Google that, be careful because it gets wild. Okay, that was not our influence. So there's not a slow time really here at the farm at all. But when it gets a little quieter is typically that late fall, just before Christmassy kind of a time period. And I was sitting in the breakfast nook and I was having my coffee. And I had opened up YouTube or Facebook or something. You know how the whatever reel comes up and it tries to throw on what they think you would be interested in. And it caught my attention because it was the mid-90s Olympic dream team. Jordan, Pippen, Johnson. And as a kid, dude, I had the hat, the jerseys. I loved them. That was, oh my gosh. And so I went down. I started binge watching all of these YouTube videos on the documentaries behind Jordan and Pippen and all those dynamics. And I just started looking at that. And all of a sudden I sat there and I said, the stream team. We're streaming all the time, right? We put this team together, right? Good, bad, ugly, and different. It's diverse, right? But we're on the streaming platform, and I said stream team. So that's where I got the idea was from Jordan, yeah, from the dream team. Who's Jordan? Get out of here. Get out of here. Well, delete that mic. Here we go.
Come on.
But it's been a lot of fun, hasn't it?
Yeah. It has been. Sure has.
What's neat about this is I think we all do this all in our own way. But you mentioned it earlier, Bruce. It's easy, and there is sometimes the unfortunate mentality with beekeepers where I'm hoarding all this gold information, and somehow if I help somebody else out and they're successful, somehow I'm less successful with what I'm doing here. And I know we've talked about it before, and I promised Susie that I would not get on my pulpit this morning, okay, because I'll just go all day. But there is something to be said about a mindset of abundance and a mindset of scarcity. And I get it. We've all gone through different decades and different economic periods in the history of our country, family structures. I get it, right? It's not easy for anybody. It surely hasn't been for us. But one thing that I've learned early on, and I think somebody who really put it into words well was Bob Benny, that there's plenty of room at the table for everybody. We've always done that. We are in the foothills of the Appalachians here, and one thing these people are known for is that those who have least give most, and that's a really important thing to think about. I was talking with Tom Nolan. There's folks who all have similar stories about what that means to them and their family, and that's a beautiful thing, is because when you practice what you preach, it doesn't matter if you're raising hogs, raising bees, raising a family, or growing a business. You want to see people around you do well because that rising tide raises all ships. But unfortunately, in business, not just agriculture, but anything in general, if somebody thinks that they have something to gain, they're afraid they have something to lose. And unfortunately, some folks look at competition as something that's going to take food off their table. And let me just tell you, if you're worried that by helping somebody else out is going to take bread off your table, then I think you need to spend some time reevaluating your approach. For us,
I want to be church here.
Jason, life lessons.
My grandpa, you guys have heard me say it, was an old country preacher, fire and brimstone, 4-hour sermons. You left there wrung out and just exhausted. In a good way. And so I inherit that honestly from Grandpa. But Our faith, being blessed with the opportunity to be on God's green earth with a purpose, serving under God's will, doing what we can for folks. All this is a part of this plan for us, our life, and our purpose. And I do believe that before the foundations of this earth was laid, that God had a plan for every single one of us. And I think when we acknowledge that, we can live a life that is full of abundance, that we're not worried about someone taking bread off our table. We're not worried about someone doing us harm, doing us wrong, because guess what? That's going to happen whether we are worrying about it or not. All we can do is be positive, do the best that we can, help folks out, stand for what's right, stand for what's good. If someone needs help, you help them. It's that simple. And that's a lot of what happened with the three of us, really. We all had different talents. You've all heard the story of how many talents. This person had this many talents, this person had this many talents, this person had this many talents. It's what you do with those talents that I think counts and what's important. Brian is the tech whiz. I mean, he is just I've never met someone who is so on point with all of this. Bruce does a fantastic job of articulating and sharing what he's doing in a humble, honest way, transparent way with what beekeeping means to him. I'm just some schmuck who can run a couple of these buttons and love to just wax philosophically and go deep on some of those things. But I think the three of us together, it's a special formula because we are always mindful of checking the ego out the door. It's not about us individually. It's about all of us collectively as a whole in the community. And I think if more folks did that, not just the beekeeping community, the homestead community, the farmstead community, the homeschool community, it goes on and on and on and on, this country would be a lot better place. And I think we could all agree we've got a lot of room for improvement in those categories there. So I'll probably stop there before I get in trouble. But yeah, so that's kind of where the stream team started. I think we've tried to do the best we can, sharing our mindset, our hearts of beekeeping, life in general. And I think when we do that, it's a little bit different of approach. And I want to thank you guys for not only your friendship and your collaboration, but this is not a real easy thing. You know, to put three guys in the same room or the same screen to share what these bugs in the box mean, it's not as easy as you think. And so I really appreciate you guys and this journey that we've had so far, and I'm looking forward to seeing where the years take us with this.
Greg. Yeah, I throw in the comedy every once in a while. There's a movie there, and there was a line, and I could just say, "You had me at hello."
Oh, stop, Brian.
Oh, man.
A lot of us, as we are raising businesses and creating products and raising bees and trying to grow a family and grow a community, you know, sometimes we have been that ship out on those rough seas in the dark and not know what the future holds. And somehow all of us, if we think back and look, there has always been a lighthouse that has shown safe harbor, maybe showed the dangers of the rocks, provided a place where we can just cruise for just a minute so we can keep sailing and keep moving on, and that's special. And I'm going to thank everybody here for doing just that. I'm going to thank you again for watching here on the live stream, the podcast, and on the replay. And as always, I want to remind you to be the lighthouse and be the change you want to see in this world. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.